Good morning traders, welcome to this week's Trade Zone Asian session update for 24th of the 10th. So welcome to a new trading week, and we have to look at Friday's action because it was a bit of a catalyst, and it sort of signed off a really good week for risk markets actually, after seeing a lot, selling continuing previous weeks before that, and I'm not exactly sure exactly what sparked it. We didn't have a heap of news on Friday, but there was one big piece of news, and that was the Bank of Japan as it intervened into the dollar yen. So they came out. We're looking at the dollar, sorry, Bitcoin in front of us now. We're going to just move over to the dollar yen. So we can see that the dollar continued to surge, and it hit a high of 151.94 to the yen, and then all of a sudden we saw some pretty heavy selling come in, and that was the Bank of Japan selling the US dollar and stopping what was a really lovely big run from the dollar to the yen last week. So if we just see the weekly chart here, we can just see that non-stop continuation of higher highs and higher lows, and that's when it all came to an end. Now after this occurred, we saw on many risk markets a real reversal. So we can see here the Aussie dollar got down to 62.09 before we saw that big reversal, and we really just think it is due to the US dollar being sold so heavily by the Bank of Japan, and that sort of just changed market momentum on Friday. So it wasn't just confined to risk currencies. We saw this on we saw this across stocks as well. So if we look at some of the stock futures, we can see that sharp reversal that occurred, and we can see today's session so far. The ASX 200 futures are trading at the moment; they're trading higher. But we'll get to the US futures, US markets in one moment, and we can see here that low that was put in and that real strong reversal. And now just looking over at some of the US markets, we can see again, that reversal that we did see earlier on Friday, which turned into a very strong move higher. Now there's also some strong earnings figures came out, and this I think galvanized the move and helped propel it forward. So that was definitely a couple of the factors, and these factors also played along over for cryptocurrencies. So we saw a reversal there on Bitcoin, and then over the weekend we've seen positive moves from cryptocurrencies with some strong days and some strong buying this morning. Ethereum's having a very solid session. Now let's drop down to some of our crypto indexes. So the top 10, which is 1.43% higher at this stage, we can just see here that we are at the top of that range, and this is pretty positive. We've seen a bounce, rejection of the range low, and now we're back sort of halfway up, halfway through the range. And if we can see a move back up to this area here at 10,432, that'll be a big positive. It looks unlikely. We haven't really seen crypto up there for a period of time, apart from that one touch there. But if we can see a nice grinding trend up and a break of that resistance, that would be a real positive for the crypto top 10. And it's the same on the top 25. We can see a move back to that 8,495 and a break that would signal some good signs that possibly that things might be starting to change on that landscape. So support we need to see hold at that 7,655, and on the top 10 we really need to see this level here, which is 9,511, continue to hold. So things are looking a little bit positive this morning on the crypto front, and we'll just go back over to stocks this morning. So the futures are online. We are seeing some moves higher. So the US 30 in particular, we've seen a nice move higher. It is fading a little bit at the moment, and it's the same over on the SPX 500 and on the Nasdaq, which is leading the charge at the moment. It's 0.94% higher. So we have spoken about the US 30 and other US indexes last week. So we are continuing to see signs that we'd like to see. We've seen that higher low, the break of resistance, and now we're seeing a further confirmation with a push higher. So the ASX has just started to trade, and it is just have a look if we have an update. it's still coming online. So the ASX opens alphabetically, so it starts, obviously now it's the A, B, C's and D's, and it will progressively more stocks will come online as things continue towards that 5 to 6 past 10. At the moment it's up 0.61%, but we're thinking it might push a bit higher than that as buying continues this morning after some very strong leads from the US on Friday, which saw 2.47% added on the Dow and 2.37 on the S&P 500 and 2.31% added on the Nasdaq. So this week we've got a fair bit coming up. It's going to be a pretty busy week, and it starts today with flash manufacturing services data coming out of Europe. This data is expected at the moment to sort of come in a little bit mixed. The main ones being French flash services, lower than expected. The German manufacturing, lower than expected. German services, steady. And for the UK, looking at manufacturing lower and flash to come in lower. Flash services. And for the US, looking at services PMI to come in slightly higher, and the manufacturing PMI to come in lower as well. So that's just really a starting point. Wednesday and Thursday are the real big days. We've got consumer confidence coming out from the US. We've got Australian CPI and trim min CPI, and Chinese GDP, which was meant to be released last week, and they're still expecting that 3.3% after the last 0.4%. And as spoken about on Friday, we're going to be watching that one with a lot of interest, because as we all know, COVID lockdowns and the zero COVID policy has been continuing to hurt China. So it'll be interesting to see if they really did see that much growth. And so that's coming out. Well, it's tentative, so there's no release date, but it's for Wednesday, Wednesday around midday Australian time. So things continue to head up on Thursday, being probably the biggest day. We have the Bank of Canada rates decision. That's they're expecting a 0.50% higher increase to 3.75%, and then we have the ECB rate decision, and they're looking for a rise to 2%, which is a very big interest rate rise, considering that we did not see many rate rises from the ECB. So I think the statement also will be quite interesting to see how they're viewing things in Europe at the moment, because inflation is high and the economies of the EU are not doing the best at the moment. And then we cap it all off with advanced GDP from the US, and they're looking for a strong figure to come in at 2.3%. And then to cap off the week, we have the Bank of Japan. Now, I don't know how much they will go into what they did on Friday, but obviously they really just hit a point, and that was it for them, and they had to stop what was going on with the USD, JPY, it's coming very close to hitting that 152 point. So we have the monetary policy statement, and the policy rate, which is expected to stay the same, and then the press conference. So it'll be interesting to see their thoughts on the yen, their thoughts on the economy at the moment, and if there is any explanation as to why moves were taken last Friday to stop that move against, stop those moves against the yen. Now, if we have a look at the yen this morning, we can see that risk currencies are trading very firm to it. We can see that move there. We can see the Aussie is 0.84%, the Euro is up 0.75%, and the pound is leading, it's up 0.130%. So we can see the moves here, but they have not really, at the moment, they're not really doing what was intended. We can see that the dollar yen is up very firm as well. So will we see more action from the Bank of Japan if we continue to see rallies from risk markets? So definitely keep an eye on the yen pairs today. If we do see new highs coming in from yen pairs, and the dollar yen would be a hard task for it to get back up there today. But if it did really start to rally firmly, will we see more intervention from the Bank of Japan? So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. So apart from the news that's coming out later this week, we do run webinars weekly. So we have some guest analysts, some of them very well known, and they have fantastic presentations. So be sure to check those out and register your interest for them if that's something that sounds interesting to you. Now, so just moving forward today, we're just going to see what happens now from risk markets this week. If we're going to continue to see these rallies, some of them are a bit overextended, but we are seeing these nice trends developing. So really just to see now if we do have a retracement, if that retracement stops with a new higher low and then we see a new push higher, just showing that we are in short-term uptrends. And same over on some of the currencies. We see that nice break here from the Aussie. We want to see if the Aussie dollar and the euro and the pound can continue to push higher. The pound's seeing a fair bit of resistance this morning from that 1.1402 area, so we'd like to see if buyers can come back into the market and push higher. The dollar is a little bit firmer at this stage in the morning. It's 0.21% higher, so we'll just need to see if some of the momentum we saw on Friday is actually real true momentum, has it really changed, and will we see buyers continue to commit. So otherwise we'll just see if sellers can regain control and if they are able to force the market a bit lower. So that's it for today's update. We wish you the best of trading for the week to come. Keep an eye out on the Bank of Japan, and definitely check out some of those interest rate decisions that are coming out from Bank of Canada, the ECB, and the statement and comments from the Bank of Japan. So have a great week. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks, and bye for now.